All right, look, let's talk about crypto, let's talk about Bitcoin, let's talk about the markets, because if you look online right now, half the influencers are bearish, the other half are bullish, and it's probably confusing the crap out of you. So what I'm gonna do in this video is give you a crypto market analysis, both in the short term and long term, so you know what to expect and when to expect it and what to look out for those expectations to play out. So we're gonna start with Bitcoin, we're gonna talk about altcoins, and this is a long-term view on the market, starting with a short-term view. What's going on right now? Let's talk about it. All right, so this is Bitcoin on the daily right now. Now, we bought the bounce at $62,000. This is relevant. I'll explain why in just one second. And the factor line told you to buy $65,000 when Bitcoin was at $65,000 and double down when Bitcoin broke 70K. As you can see, there's the SFP buy over here. This is your swing entry. This is your entry, your long-term entry, and you can see the factor line is gold. The trend stacker also just went gold over here. This is momentum, volume, and a couple of other factors, and this is bullish. Now, real quick, keep this in mind. When we broke $74,000 to the downside and made that resistance, we entered a bear market technically. Why? Because structure broke, okay? This is relevant, and I want you to understand this because this is gonna be part of our analysis and our core analysis. That 74K level, or should I say, that 70K psychological to $74,000 level, that range, is vital for your analysis, and it will take away a lot of noise, okay? So when we broke that to the downside, we broke structure, structurally entered the bear market, and right now, Bitcoin is holding just over $75,000. If that holds, let me show you what to expect. So again, the factor line gave you this range over here, told you to buy here and here. And right now, we are making the top of this range here support. And what I'm expecting, at least probability-wise, is a run at least to the $80,000 level over here, which is the bottom of the previous range. And if we break out and make that support, then we could be looking for $95,000, reclaim even $100,000 or $107,000, basically somewhere in the mid-range to the top of the previous range over here. Now, you might be saying, Paul, what are you talking about? We're in a bear market. You might be in a bear market cap. And I understand that. I get that. And we might very well be in a bear market. But understand, we have bear market rallies. And bear market rallies could turn into bull markets, okay? I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out here, because you can also have shorter and longer bull markets and bear markets within longer trends. So my view on this, just to shed some light, because I know there's a lot of confusion out there, we are in a bear market rally, which may or may not turn into a bull market. Now, you may be saying, Paul, what are you talking about? This is obvious. No, listen to what I'm saying, because I'm giving you ranges to look out for here, okay? This is important. Please stay with me, okay? Stay with me here. Hey, Paul from the future here, real quick. Do me a favor. This video is not sponsored, and I understand that a lot of you may not be able to afford the factor line or my indicator or my services, but do me a favor, if you appreciate these videos, if you see the hype button, there's a hype button, please click it. It will really, really help me out. Or if you don't see it, at least click the like button. I hate asking for this crap, I really do, but bear markets are also tough on us because we don't get views. As you can see, my views are a fraction of what they are. Sponsors stop sponsoring videos because of the views, and of course, products and services, they don't really sell. So I'm also in the personal bear market here. So please, please, please hit the like button or the hype button. I would really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get back to the video. So the bullish scenario is we come up here to the $80,000 level. If you got in at $62,000, you could even be taking profits at this level or when this top range breaks. So if we come down under the top of this range over here, you could take profits. if you are getting in now, you can also put your stop loss or exit plan under this range over here, under $70,000, and ride the wave up to $80,000. And then what you're looking for is very simple. Are we going to go down and make a higher low over here and reattempt to take this and make this support? Or are we going to go down? Are we going to fail, come down under the top of this range, maybe come and make it resistance? Then the bear market probabilities are the continuation of the bear market is more probable, and will probably come back down, test, and even break this level over here. So short term, you're looking at this range, okay? Short term, this is what you're doing. Let me show you. You are either entering or staying in right now as long as the top of this range holds, and your play is the extension of the previous range over here. And if that becomes support, if it breaks and becomes support, you're looking for a play to either the breaking point over here or the mid-range of the previous range over here. That's your play. So essentially you come up here. If it's a fake out and you reject, it depends if it's a higher low, then you could buy, and you do exactly the same thing or same philosophy at this level over here as we are doing over here, which I explained earlier in the video. Right now we're seeing a W pattern over here, which is bullish, and it seems like the 62,000 to 73,900 level is support. So if we break back into this range, you could trade it or you could exit depending on your style. As long as you stay above it, you're staying in for higher profits. Does that make sense? Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, Paul, okay, but if we break down under $70,000 and we make that resistance, are we in a bear market? Not necessarily. That's why I said you would actually trade that range dependently, and we can talk about that when the time comes. Subscribe down below, hit the like button so you can follow that video. But generally speaking, if we break under $60,000 and make that resistance, then the possibilities or the probabilities of 50,000, even 40,000 become much more, how can I put this? Well, much more probable, right? So that's what you're looking for. Now, when it comes to altcoins, what's going on with altcoins? Because altcoins are basically depending on Bitcoin. They are waiting for permission from Bitcoin so they can either run or dump. A lot of people are asking me, Paul, why aren't you charting Ethereum right now? Why aren't you charting altcoins right now? And I do. If you ask me in live streams, I'll do it live. But generally speaking, I don't chart tops and bottoms when it comes to altcoins. I chart Bitcoin tops, Bitcoin bottoms, because I know that altcoins will follow. I only chart altcoins in the in-between. You keep it simple. Does that make sense? Because we don't know. Right now we're in a bear market. We don't know what narratives will come. We don't know what will actually run. You might think old coins will run, powerful. We don't know that. So we're not really buying altcoins. We might be buying some altcoins for this potential run and then double down if we get indeed into a bull market. But generally speaking, you want to be wary and you want to chart Bitcoin. Keep things simple. And if you give me a second, I'm going to show you what I'm expecting from altcoins, what narratives I'm expecting for this bear market rally or continuation into a bull market. But just be wary, okay? Be wary. This is important what I'm saying right now, because if we continue into a bear market, narratives can change, utility can become obsolete, a lot of things can go wrong in bear markets, companies fold, and so on, like you've seen what's been going on. We'll talk about long term in just a second. Now I'm talking about short and medium term, okay? So when it comes to altcoins, what we want to do, because we're charting Bitcoin, we want to mostly look at the monthly chart. You can look at the weekly as well, and you can look at the daily if you take trades, for example. But for this video, I want to talk about the monthly chart, because here you can see which altcoins are strong and which ones are not. So if we come into our favorites over here, I recently bought Mon and Morpho, by the way, as risk plays because I saw the charts and I liked the way they look, but very small amounts, keep that in mind. But as you can see, generally on the monthly, we are in green. We are in green with altcoins because Bitcoin is in green, if that makes sense. Look at this, 10% up to 77,000. We had the lows of 60,000 and 165,000K established as support over here. You can see that Bitcoin pretty much gave the way for altcoins to climb. Now, some have outperformed, some have not. Regardless, doesn't really matter. What you want to be looking at is mostly Bitcoin and maybe some altcoins. I mean, Zcash was a no-brainer here, but some altcoins in certain narratives. What are the narratives I am looking for? I am looking perpetual dexes, things like Hype, Aster, maybe Bluefin on Sui if Sui comes back, but that's later on. I'm also looking at privacy. I'm looking at Canton and Zcash. But the ones I'm more bullish on, of course, is AI, and especially ones that combine or separately are X402 tokens. Now, if you don't know what X402 tokens are, I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can watch it after this video, and I'll also probably link it at the end of this video. So pay attention with me now, because this is important, but that are the narratives I'm looking at, and I'll make a videos on which altcoins I think will do well. I'll do it this week, so make sure you pay attention so you don't miss that video. I'll tell you what altcoins I'm in and why, what I'm expecting, but also the strategy in case we are wrong and what to buy or sell if we are wrong, okay? I'm rambling a little bit in this video. I'm doing it live, okay? I know it's not live, but I'm just doing this analysis for you because I want to shed some light. So let's talk a little bit about long term for this year. And if anything comes to my head, we'll go back to details. But let's talk about long term. Look, long term, we are in a bear market, but we are in a bear market rally, which may actually turn into a bull market. It might continue into a bull market. And what we are expecting, if the lows was 60K, that's why we bought the bounce, was 1/3 of our capital. We bought the bounce at $62,000 and bought a little bit again at $67,000 and 170K broke. But if those are indeed the lows, well, there you go. And look, we can have a bear market and that could be the low. Even though I'm expecting the low around summer, or I was expecting the low around summer or after summertime, the truth is we're gonna have more of a clear picture within summer, all right? So in summer, I'm gonna tell you if that was probably the lows or not, or we're expecting more downside. But long term, look, again, bear markets, and I said this multiple times, bear markets it's not the drop, it's not the percentage drop that's the killer, it's the prolonged time at lower lows that kills you, that kills your psychology, that kills and makes companies fold and so on, because they run out of money, they run out of capital, but also it's not the fear that gets you as much as people think, it's the psychology, because you are addicted to crypto. Crypto is volatile, it goes up and down very fast, and you get that gambler's mentality and that dopamine feeling. So as long as going up and down, you're having that feeling, but once you're down and it won't go up, right? And it just stays at lower levels for a long time, that kills you. It kills your psychology. You can get depressed because you're missing that dopamine feeling, and that's what gets people wrecked. That's when people do stupid moves. That's when people actually leave crypto and stop crypto altogether. It's like the casino. As long as you're playing and it goes up and down, you have that rush, but once you lose all your capital and you have nothing to play, you don't really miss the money you could have made, although it plays that does play a lot in your psychology and everything, of course, but it's the feeling that you're missing, that you know you can't get the adrenaline and that rush anymore, and that's what kills your psychology. That's why you get depressed. A lot of people just throw themselves over cliffs. I don't suggest you do that, but you get what I mean. So understand that we could stay in this range for a while and we could be in a bear market, but right now Bitcoin has flipped into a potential bull market. And I know that sounds crazy, but again, until proven otherwise, we're in a bear market rally. Let's see if it continues, okay? And I did say that the drop from 126,000, 85% drop, I was saying, look, the dollar is down compared to other years. The 50, 60% drop we have might be the 85% drop, just because the dollar is at lower value. So we may have got the drop. I'm not saying we did, but we may have got the drop. So we're more like 70% down or 60% down already. The thing is, Bitcoin can fall 70 to 85% down in bear markets. So we may have already got the drop, if that makes sense, okay? So anyway, just to recap, watch the range. Watch the range on Bitcoin. You don't need to look at altcoins. You don't need to chart altcoins. Watch this range. If this range becomes a support, if this range here becomes a support, you can expect Bitcoin to come higher, but watch resistance levels on the way up, obviously. This has to become support. This has to become support. As long as the previous resistance becomes support, you can expect more upside. But if we break it down, if we actually break down under 74,000 to 70,000 range over here, then expect a bear market continuation. That's what to look out for. And that's why all the influencers are confused. They're confused because they're day traders, or they're day trading or using day trading videos when you're supposed to be swing trading and doing long-term analysis. That's what confuses you. If you're not a day trader, the range plays does not apply to you. But they're doing day trading videos because that's how they do videos every day. They get views. And I'm not against that, but you're not day traders. You're more like swing traders and investors. And if that's you, check out my course, Invest, Trade, and Think Like the Crypto Factor. It comes with a factor line indicator. That's the indicator that I use in these videos. You'll get access to that on TradingView forever by scanning this code over here, or click the link in the description down below. Just check it out. It might not be for you. It's kind of expensive. I'm not going to get into it and what it does in this video, but check it out. And if you want to know what X402 tokens are, those are one of the narratives that I expect are going to do well in 2027, end of 2026, in beginning 2027. I think these are going to do extremely well for the next season or the next cycle. Check out the video right here. Also goes into some other narratives as well, but check this video out here. Or if you want to know how to trade better and stop making massive mistakes that most people are making, check this video out right here. So click on one of these two videos. You're going to love it, and I will see you in the next video.